Hey guys, what's going on? I'm going to go through LottoX by Ben Sturgill a little bit. So I've written a full review as usual. You can find the link in the description below. It'll take you to this full review where you can learn everything you need to know about Ben Sturgill's service called LottoX, and also some of the results I've had, some of the results other people have had with the service. Also, you might want to come and check out our Facebook group if you're not in it yet. It's basically a Facebook group dedicated to people that are in these alert services, including LottoX, and basically posting about the different services or different experiences. It can be quite helpful. There's nearly 7,000 people in here now, which is great. And so this morning I posted this little picture here about the 0DTE LottoX trading room calls for Thursday, the Thursday just passed here. And so I haven't been paying attention to the service, so I figured it was time for a bit of an update and look at the recent calls on it and just go through some of them. And yeah, let's get started. So the LottoX service is pretty interesting. It's a very low cost service. So if you go to that article, I've left a link to this quarterly subscription. You can see it's only $99 for 3 months, so that's pretty good. That's actually really good. You can get it cheaper for monthly if you just want to try it out, $49. Or even really much cheaper for $4.49 for the whole year. But I would recommend this quarterly subscription because it'll give you a chance to really test these out. Because remember, these trades are only once a week, so they come out every Thursday around lunchtime Eastern time, so 12:30ish Eastern time. And you can see on the screen here you have Ben talking. I think this is Ethan, and they talk about the trades. So if you're around at lunchtime, you can listen live and they'll go through what they're looking at and why, which is always really helpful. And so they're technical traders. They mainly look at the squeeze, the moving averages, volume, that kind of thing. And they do a good job. They do a pretty good job. And I think these are really high risk, high reward trades, but you can play them slightly differently. You can take the contracts and scalp them. You can decide what your own stop loss is, and what you don't have to let these things go to zero, which can sometimes be the plan, right? So for 0DTE, the idea is you hold to almost until expiration. So the ones that are winners tend to be really, really large, and the ones that are losers tend to go to almost zero if you play it that way. And so these are really, they call them the junk food trades, the 0DTE options, and they are extremely exciting. So I think I wouldn't buy this service thinking that you're going to get rich. I would buy it to learn from these guys, like how they pick the contracts, what technical analysis they do, and then also just for fun. These contracts are low priced, so you're only risking $60 if you get one contract on these things, and we can look at that in a minute in a bit more detail. But they give out about 5-ish alerts every Thursday, and they're pretty good. You've got to be okay with a low percentage win rate though. If you play them the way that these are meant to be played, you're going to lose quite a few of the trades. The ones that do hit are going to be large, like this one, 840%, 216%. And so you have to be prepared with these position sizes that if you're going to hold until close to expiration, that the losing trades could go to almost zero. So I'd definitely be careful with this. Like I said in the Facebook group just a few minutes ago, I was telling them, like, you can hold these things and get a higher win rate if you, let's see where it is, if you just take 30% profits fairly quickly, you can get a much higher win rate. So here's my response here. So the people that make it work tend to just use the idea, so they have the direction. So if it's a call, obviously they think the stock's going to go up, and so they usually, me included, tend to just to lock in 30% profits on positions, and you can often get that at a very high probability that these things are volatile enough that you'll hit 30% profits on them. So you can often, I've used this technique in the past, you can often just buy all of the LottoX calls for that week, or picks, and you can then just set orders to lock in 30% profits on them. And by doing that, you'll massively increase your win rate over the way that they play them, and you'll get smaller gains, but you'll have a much higher win rate. So that's the way I've personally been playing them. I wanted to take a look though at this recent trades. These are the ones that they called out on Thursday at lunchtime. So I wanted to go through them a little bit and discuss what would have happened if you'd played them conventionally, this idea of holding them until they're close to expiration and seeing what would happen. So you can see on the left here we've got the different trades. Let's see, there was 36 of them this week. That's pretty average, so about 6 different trades. These are the alerts that go out to the app and on the Raging Bull dashboard, but they'll call these out in real time on their half-hour live on Thursday, so you can also get in pretty quickly if you want. There isn't always a huge rush to get in though, so these are not that fast moving in terms of the underlying stock price at least. The contracts are pretty volatile, but the underlying stocks don't just immediately take off usually. And so you can see the types they're playing: Disney, GTX, AMD, CHPT, Meta, Google. So they're not playing really low volume stuff or anything. They're playing high volume stocks. The contracts have lots of good volume on them, so these are good. So on the right here you can see what happened with each one of these plays, and you can see you could get in around 0.6 when these first came out, and this one moved by close on Friday up to 600%, which is pretty amazing. So I did put CHPT on here. I'll just go through a couple of the other ones. GDX 0.18 to 0.4, it's a 100% move. AMD expired worthless, so you'd have lost your $67 on one contract. So you can see these are low priced, so you multiply by 100, right, to get the price per contract. So you can use really small amounts of money to start and practice these. Or even if you just want to play them for fun, test out the service, you can use $65 or $50 per contract, and only use like a couple $100 if you're just trying to get one of each. And my experience has been it has been worth getting buying each one of these contracts each week. So you want to get in all of them, because you get pretty annoyed if you just got into AMD, for example. These are AMD puts, and on Friday, the day after they were alerted, they went to zero. So if you just buy AMD puts, and you'd be a little annoyed that you'd lost your entire position, which would be small. If you wanted to play it small, you could play as little as $67. And so this is a particularly good week. I can't say this is what happens every single week or anything. This is just the last Thursday. Just picked the most recent one to do this video. And yeah, they sometimes don't trigger. So CHPT didn't trigger because it didn't break below 1050. So that one was a no-go whatsoever. So really, only one was a loss, and the rest were pretty significant winners. I mean, look at Google. We should go and have a look at the chart on Google for these contracts and see what it looks like exactly. So this is the underlying stock chart. The alerts come out around midday on the Thursday, which is this day right here, the 19th. And so you can see not much really happened, maybe up a little bit. So you could probably scalp this little move, but look what happened on the Friday, massive gap up. And so if we go to the contracts, I'm in the on-demand feature at the moment, so if you've not used that on Thinkorswim, it's really good. So you just click on demand, and then you can look at contracts that have expired as well. So this was yesterday, or the day before, sorry, Friday. It's now Sunday. So these expired on Friday. These calls on the left here. So let's look and see what the actual thing was here. So on Google it was $94 calls. So I'm going to go to the $94 calls here, and you can see they closed pretty high. Send them to the charts here. So we switch over. So now I'm plotting the contract price from Thursday, which is this day right here, and then Friday. So if we zoom in on this, you can see the contracts were around 0.4ish, around midday, and then they gapped up massively and hit 4 something. I think 4.3 was the highest. So even if you'd sold at the open here, you'd have made significant profit, which is what we're seeing on Google here. 4.3 was the high. So these numbers represent the absolute maximum they got to. So obviously you're not going to get the whole move, and you can basically decide whether you want to lock in your profits earlier or scale out or whatnot. But if you were able to play each of these optimally with 10 contracts on each, it would have cost you just $2,650. And if you played them all perfectly, which of course you can't, you'd have hit $9,400 in profits. Of course, we're all humans, so we're not going to take profits on at the top on each one of these. So you have to kind of figure out you know exactly how you're going to play this. And of course, on your losers, you're also left to kind of figure out what your stop loss would be. So I wouldn't let things go to zero, but I wouldn't let things go below about 60 or 70%. So I wouldn't lose the whole position on AMD, for example. But I also tend to take profits too quickly as well. So I doubt I'd have got 600% or 860% on these. But if you were to play them the way that they're kind of supposed to be played, and let them get close to expiration, then you would have, that's the sort of profits you would have been able to get. So pretty good. I mean, I like the service. I think it's pretty exciting. I keep missing it though, so I even though they're not that time sensitive, like you can see on Google, like it wouldn't have mattered if you'd been in at 12, so 12:30 is here. It doesn't matter where you got in this area. They hadn't really moved. The big move was the next day. So it's not that time sensitive, but I want to make sure that I'm entering quickly, just in case we do get a big run up into the end of the day. I don't want to be entering up at the, you know, far above the alert price. It's just the way I like to play it. So unless I'm sitting at my computer ready to go when these come out, I tend to miss them. So after this last week though, I'm going to try and play these a bit more though, because I'm going to make more of an effort to be there and playing them. And so I talk about all this stuff in the article, so I highly suggest that you go and check this article out. There's a webinar and a link to be able to join. It takes you to this site. And at the moment they're selling it for $99 a quarter, which is a total bargain. And even if you just do one contract, which just for fun and practice, you'll learn a lot and you're likely to make a little bit of money if you practice it a bit. So they look at things like VWAP. So these are all fairly common, but it's nice they do all the work for you, right? That's the point in some of these services, is the due diligence and taking the work out of it for you. So they look at things like breaking the VWAP, moving averages, bull flags, DTM squeeze, all that kind of stuff. And when I can attend, I really do enjoy the live trading commentary. I think it's fun. One thing that's not super great about it though is this idea that you are kind of left to your own devices. So really what comes out is those alerts that I showed you, and you're left to manage the trade completely by yourself. And it's not made clear exactly what Ben Sturgill actually does. Like, he sends out those ideas and it's not clear if he takes each one of them or if he just takes one. And so my biggest complaint about the service is the fact that they don't really have a clear track record. It's not even clear what the guys are doing exactly on these. So they aren't, I would say they aren't for beginners. So I think you need to be able to manage your own trades pretty well. The people I know that have done well with it tend to be fairly experienced traders who just want the shortcut to not have to do the work and to get in on these trades. But they actively manage themselves, which is really important. Honestly, it's a bit of a complaint, but at the same time I can see, because the track record is so hard to juggle, right? Like, it's not as simple as an alert service that says buy here, sell here. It's more of these ideas to try and help you get a good chance of these 0 DTE movers. And so I've done videos on this before. I've done some of my own trades on here, so you can see this video in here. So you can go to this article, check them out. I've put what I've done in the past, scalping these things rather than waiting overnight, which has worked pretty well. And I've documented some of this too. And I've put my net losses and net profits. Overall, I've been profitable with the service. But there will be weeks, and I think this is something that people need to realize a lot, is there will be weeks where they all lose, right? So you've got to position yourself based on the fact that these things could drop 50% within an hour or two, and certainly overnight they could drop. So you've got to be very careful with your position sizes and risk management. And I think this service kind of teaches you that. So they don't teach you it directly, but by practicing it, you get to start to realize that exactly how you want to trade them, which is cool. And so, like, they call it junk food trades, and I totally agree. It's not gambling, because trading's not really gambling, but it's kind of close to that. So it does feel a little bit like high risk, high reward, which is what it is. 0 DTE trading has become more and more popular over the last year though. It's something like 50% of trades now, options trades, are 0 DTE trades. So people are really starting to like these spicier trades. And I think people like Ben are really good at helping pick out, the most likely candidates for moving overnight. But definitely not for the weak or people with a low risk tolerance, because these are not easy trades. They're fun, and you can often see things moving really fast. And with practice, you can definitely make money with this service with practice. At least that's been my experience. And I think for the money, it's pretty good. It's fun. So yeah. Alright guys, hopefully that's helpful. If you want to sign up for the quarterly subscription for $99, just click the link in the description below. It'll take you to my article, and within the article you'll find numerous links to take you to go and buy the service. Alright guys, have a good day. Cheers.